In ancient China, myths weave a tapestry of wonder and wisdom. Take the tale of Pangu, the giant who emerged from chaos to create the world. With each swing of his mighty axe, he separated heaven from earth, breathing life into mountains and rivers. Then there's the story of Nuwa, the goddess who molded humanity from clay, repairing the sky with 5 colored stones after a great catastrophe. And who could forget the dragon kings, rulers of water, who control rain and floods, embodying both power and protection? These myths not only explain the natural world, but also reflect the values of harmony and balance. They remind us that every creature, every element, has a story worth telling, connecting us to a rich cultural heritage that still resonates today. Legendary creatures in Chinese folklore include dragons, which are one of the most important symbols in Chinese culture, often representing power, strength, and good fortune. Unlike the fire-breathing Western dragon, the Chinese dragon is typically benevolent and is associated with water, rain, and agriculture. The Qilin is a mythical hooved chimerical creature, often depicted with the body of a deer and the tail of an ox, and sometimes the hooves of a horse. It is considered an omen of prosperity or serenity and appears during times of peace or the birth of a sage or ruler. Hulijing, or fox spirits, are female fox spirits that can shapeshift into beautiful women. In folklore, they are both feared and revered for their ability to seduce men and cause mischief. While some stories portray them as malevolent, others show them as protectors or helpful beings. The Jiangshi, often translated as hopping vampire, is a reanimated corpse that feeds on the life force of the living. This creature is typically depicted as stiff, unable to bend its limbs, and moving by hopping. These legends offer a window into the beliefs, fears, and values of Chinese culture, blending history, mythology, and spiritual philosophy. Whether it's tales of love, justice, or the supernatural, these stories continue to be passed down through generations, often adapted into films, TV series, and literature. They remain an integral part of China's cultural fabric. In the heart of Chinese folklore, dragons symbolize power and good fortune, unlike the fire-breathing beasts of Western tales. These majestic creatures are revered as protectors, often associated with water and agriculture, bringing rain to nourish the earth. Then there's the legendary figure of the Monkey King, Sun Wukong, known for his incredible strength and mischievous nature. He defies the heavens, wielding his magical staff and transforming into various forms. And let's not forget the moon goddess, Chang'e, who resides on the moon after consuming an elixir of immortality, forever separated from her beloved Hou Yi. Each story weaves a rich tapestry of moral lessons, cultural values, and the deep connection between humanity and nature, reflecting the wisdom of generations. Mythical beings and creatures include dragons, powerful symbols of good fortune, strength, and wisdom. They are associated with water, rain, and fertility, and often considered emperors' symbols. There are different types of dragons, each with unique characteristics. The phoenix is a symbol of virtue, grace, and the empress, often representing rebirth and renewal. The Jade Emperor is the ruler of heaven, responsible for overseeing the cosmos and determining human fates. The goddess of mercy, Guanyin, is a compassionate deity who helps those in need and answers prayers. She is often depicted in white robes, holding a lotus flower. The Monkey King, Sun Wukong, is a mischievous but heroic figure from the epic journey to the west, known for his incredible strength, magical powers, and rebellious spirit. Immortals are beings who have achieved immortality through spiritual practice and cultivation. They often possess magical abilities and live in secluded, mystical places. Ghosts and spirits are the spirits of the dead, which can be benevolent, malevolent, or neutral. Stories often warn against disrespecting the dead or engaging with dangerous spirits. In the heart of China, ghost towns whisper tales of a bygone era. Picture this: sprawling cities, once bustling with life, now stand eerily silent. Take Ordos, a city built for 1 million, yet only a fraction call it home. Its empty streets echo with the dreams of rapid urbanization gone awry. Then there's the infamous Fengdu, the ghost city, where ancient beliefs intertwine with modernity. Here, the living honor the dead, creating a surreal blend of culture and superstition. And let's not forget the abandoned factories, where nature reclaims its territory, winds creeping through shattered windows. These ghostly remnants remind us of the relentless march of time and the stories that linger in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered. There are several large, unoccupied cities in China, known as ghost cities. These are newly built urban areas with modern infrastructure but low population densities. The reasons for these ghost cities range from speculative real estate investments to mismatched planning for population growth. Some well-known examples include Ordos in Inner Mongolia and Kangbashi in Ordos, which, while having towering skyscrapers and wide streets, remain largely empty. China has a rich history of folklore, and many places in the country are associated with ghost stories. From old temples to ancient battlegrounds, various sites in China are thought to be haunted by spirits or ghosts. These tales often draw on China's long tradition of ancestor worship and spiritual beliefs. The concept of ghostly could also relate to historical events such as tragic wars, societal upheavals, or other moments in history that have left a lasting, haunting legacy. For example, the consequences of wars like the Second Sino-Japanese War or the Cultural Revolution could give rise to a more ghostly atmosphere in certain places. Ghosts are often featured in Chinese cinema, literature, and folklore. Chinese horror movies and stories typically feature restless spirits, often connected to tragic stories of betrayal, injustice, or unfulfilled desires. The Ghost Festival, also known as the Hungry Ghost Festival, occurs in the 7th month of the lunar calendar in many East and Southeast Asian cultures, including China. This festival is steeped in traditional beliefs about the spirit world and the interaction between the living and the dead. During the 7th month, the gates of hell are opened, allowing the spirits of the dead to roam the earth. These spirits, particularly those who have suffered from neglect or improper burial rituals, return to the physical world in search of food, offerings, and solace. Families make offerings to honor their ancestors and appease these wandering spirits to prevent misfortune. To keep spirits satisfied, families will prepare special food offerings, light incense, and burn paper money or other paper items to provide for the spirits in the afterlife. This practice is believed to ensure that the spirits will not cause harm or misfortune. People also hold rituals, prayers, and ceremonies during this month to honor their ancestors. Temples often host ceremonies, and there are performances such as getai that are believed to entertain both the living and the spirits. During this time, many people avoid risky activities such as traveling or moving to a new house, as it is believed that the spirits may cause accidents or misfortune. Additionally, some people avoid swimming or going out late at night, fearing that malevolent spirits might cause harm. Beyond the ghostly elements, this period also emphasizes the importance of honoring one's ancestors. It is a time for family members to come together to pay respects and remember those who have passed, reinforcing the cultural practice of ancestor worship. In this context, the opening of Hell's Gates is symbolic of a time when the boundary between the living and the dead becomes thin, and spirits are given the opportunity to visit the world of the living. This belief varies slightly across different regions, but it remains an important cultural tradition in China and other parts of East Asia. The airy world of Chinese folklore is filled with spine-chilling tales and legends that have been passed down through generations. In the shadows of ancient China, tales of the Jiangshi, the hopping vampire, send chills down the spine. With its stiff limbs and pale skin, this creature rises from the dead, seeking the life force of the living. But beware, for it can be warded off with a mirror or a sprig of garlic. Then there's the legend of the nine-tailed fox, a shape-shifting spirit known for its beauty and cunning. It can bring fortune or disaster, depending on how you treat it. And let's not forget the vengeful spirits of the restless dead, who wander the earth, seeking justice for wrongs done to them. Ancient history and philosophy. China's history spans thousands of years, shaping a unique philosophical landscape. Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism profoundly influence values, relationships, and the pursuit of harmony. Temples and ancient sites like the Forbidden City and the Terracotta Army are testaments to this legacy. Landscape and nature. China boasts stunning natural beauty, from the towering Himalayas to the serene rice terraces, the majestic Great Wall snaking across the land, and the vibrant hues of the Zhujiang Valley. This diverse terrain inspires a connection to nature and plays a key role in feng shui and traditional medicine. Spiritual practices. Mystical China is alive with spiritual practices, from meditation and qigong to traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, and the principles of feng shui. These practices aim to achieve balance and harmony, both within oneself and with the surrounding environment. Folklore and mythology. Dragons, phoenixes, and other mythical creatures populate Chinese folklore. These stories teach moral lessons, explain natural phenomena, and represent powerful forces. Symbols like the yin and yang, the 5 elements, and the I Ching reflect a complex and interconnected worldview. Cultural traditions, tea ceremonies, calligraphy, martial arts, and the practice of traditional arts are all integral to Chinese culture. These traditions reflect a deep respect for craftsmanship, beauty, and the pursuit of inner peace. Mysterious elements. The unknown is a key feature in this region, such as stories of immortals, spiritual cultivation, and unexplained occurrences adds to the allure. These stories remind us that in the world of Chinese folklore, the line between the living and the supernatural is thin, and respect for the past is crucial. This is one of the most famous and enduring Chinese legends. It tells the story of a woman, Bai Suzhen, who is actually a 1,000-year-old white snake spirit. She falls in love with a mortal man, Xian, and they marry. However, a monk named Fahe discovers her true identity and believes she is a danger to humanity. He tries to separate them, leading to a tragic and dramatic battle between good and evil. The story explores themes of love, sacrifice, and the conflict between the spiritual and mortal realms. One of the most well-known stories in Chinese folklore comes from the classic novel Journey to the West. Son Wukong, the Monkey King, is born from a stone and gains incredible powers, including immortality, by learning magical arts. After defying the Jade Emperor and causing chaos in heaven, he is imprisoned by the Buddha. Later, he is freed and accompanies the monk Xuanzang on a journey to India to retrieve sacred scriptures. Sun Wukong is a symbol of rebellion, strength, and the pursuit of enlightenment. This is a romantic and tragic tale about a mortal man, Niulang, the cowherd, and a celestial maiden, Jinu, the weaver girl, who fall in love and marry. However, Jinu's mother, the Queen of Heaven, forbids their union and separates them, allowing them to only meet once a year on the 7th day of the 7th month, which is the basis for the Xuanzang festival, often called Chinese Valentine's Day. This story represents themes of love, longing, and the obstacles that fate places in the path of true love. Another ghostly tale involves Lady White, a spirit of a woman who was wronged in life. She returns from the afterlife to seek revenge on those who caused her suffering, and the story emphasizes themes of vengeance, love, and justice. Like many Chinese ghost stories, this tale explores the idea that unsettled spirits can cause harm to the living if they are not appeased. This is a terrifying story about a beautiful woman who is actually a demon in disguise. She uses magic to appear human, but her true form is horrific and monstrous. The story involves themes of deception, the nature of beauty, and the dangers of trusting appearances. It has been adapted into several films and operas, making it one of the most famous Chinese horror stories. This myth is associated with the Mid-Autumn Festival and tells the story of the Jade Rabbit who lives on the moon. According to the legend, The rabbit sacrificed itself by jumping into a fire to offer its flesh to the hungry moon goddess, Chang'e. In gratitude, the goddess placed the rabbit on the moon, where it now lives, forever making elixirs for immortality. The jade rabbit is often depicted as a symbol of selflessness and sacrifice. This legend ties into the ghost festival. Hungry ghosts are spirits of people who have died in a state of anger, fear, or despair, and they are believed to return during the 7th month of the lunar calendar. These ghosts are said to be in eternal suffering, hungry for food and unable to satisfy their needs, which is why people offer food and burn incense during this time to prevent them from causing harm. A common ghost story involves a ghost bride, where a woman who has died before marriage is married to a deceased man in the afterlife. In some legends, the living relatives may arrange for a symbolic ghost wedding to appease the restless spirit of a daughter, preventing misfortune. This practice was historically common in parts of China, and it connects to the belief that unfulfilled desires in life can lead to problems in the afterlife. Ma Liang is a young man who is gifted with the ability to bring anything he draws to life. Using his magical powers, he helps those in need and fights evil forces. However, as in many Chinese folk tales, the lesson of the story revolves around the wise and virtuous use of power. When Ma Liang's gift falls into the wrong hands, it shows the danger of greed and misuse of abilities. This is a unique practice in Chinese folklore where marriage is arranged between a living person and a deceased person. The purpose is to appease restless spirits or fulfill certain obligations. In some cases, families might marry off their deceased children to ensure they are not lonely in the afterlife or to provide a sense of closure. The idea of ghost marriage has deep roots in ancestor worship and spiritual beliefs about the afterlife. In the heart of Chinese folklore, dragons symbolize power and good fortune, unlike the fire-breathing beasts of Western tales. These majestic creatures are revered as protectors, often associated with water and agriculture, bringing rain to nourish the earth. Then there's the legendary figure of the Monkey King, Sun Wukong, known for his incredible strength and mischievous nature. He defies the heavens, wielding his magical staff and transforming into various forms. And let's not forget the moon goddess, Chang'e, who resides on the moon after consuming an elixir of immortality, forever separated from her beloved Hou Yi. Each story weaves a rich tapestry of moral lessons, cultural values, and the deep connection between humanity and nature, reflecting the wisdom of generations. Dragons, Long, are powerful symbols of good fortune, strength, and wisdom. They are associated with water, rain, and fertility, and often considered emperor's symbols. There are different types of dragons, each with unique characteristics. The phoenix, Feng Huang, is a symbol of virtue, grace, and the empress, often representing rebirth and renewal. The Jade Emperor, Vayu Huangdadi, is the ruler of heaven, responsible for overseeing the cosmos and determining human fates. The goddess of mercy, Guanyin, is a compassionate deity who helps those in need and answers prayers, often depicted in white robes, holding a lotus flower. The Monkey King, Sun Wukong, is a mischievous but heroic figure from the epic journey to the west, known for his incredible strength, magical powers, and rebellious spirit. Immortals, Xian, are beings who have achieved immortality through spiritual practice and cultivation, often possessing magical abilities and living in secluded, mystical places. Ghosts and spirits, Gu, are the spirits of the dead, which can be benevolent, malevolent, or neutral. Stories often warn against disrespecting the dead or engaging with dangerous spirits. Different versions of the creation myth exist, but many involve a primordial giant, Pangu, who separated heaven and earth, and whose body became the elements of the world. Nuwa is a goddess who created humans from clay and repaired the heavens after a great disaster. Chang'e is a beautiful woman who drank an elixir of immortality and ascended to the moon, where she now lives in solitude. The Cowherd and the Weaver Girl is a romantic tale about two lovers separated by the Milky Way who are allowed to meet only once a year. The legend of Mulla tells the story of a brave woman who disguises herself as a man to take her father's place in the army. The 8 immortals are a group of legendary immortals, each with unique powers and symbols, who are popular figures in Chinese folklore. Journey to the West is an epic novel that follows the monk Xuanzang and his disciples, including son Wukong, on a pilgrimage to the West to retrieve Buddhist scriptures. The White Snake legend is a tragic love story between a snake spirit who takes human form and a mortal man.